my 183, replaced it with this Badger. As you can plainly see, the armour was made strong. The gun's good too. We move up to the front line confidently. Won't you help WG to make more money? 'Cause all I ever get is gold fired at me. Is gold fired at me. Hello and welcome to Reginaldesq. I'm Underhook and this is my review of the brand new British Tier 10 tank destroyer, the Badger. So is it any good? Yes, it's a very good tank destroyer. Is it overpowered? I don't think so because it has some weaknesses, but it is a very good tank destroyer. It replaces the 183 seen here, the camouflage transferred over when they did it, and I liked the 183 sort of. Capable of doing big damage, but a very long relay time and not very good armour, so completely out of line with the rest of the British tank tree, and that's what the WG have suggested, and that's why they reckon they've put this in. This does have really good frontal armour and a very good gun. So let's actually have a quick look at the gun. 7.06 rate of fire is very good. 272mm of penetration, or you can go up to 320 if you want to fire gold, and does 480 damage per shot, which is really good considering that rate of fire. 0.3 dispersion, very accurate, and 1.7 second aiming time, which is one of the best things about it. Fantastic aiming time, unbelievably good, and that allows you to side scrape or pop out and shoot without exposing yourself for too long. Really, really good. The dispersion is of course fictitious. It is on all the tanks these days because remember that it's not about how much it disperses, or it is a little bit, but really it's more about how often does it disperse, and that's the figures we never get to see. So in other words, does it hit the center 90% of the time and then disperse out 10% of the time, or does it hit the center 10% of the time, disperse out 90% of the time? And that's one of the variables we don't know about. With this one, it varies quite a bit. So I have had tanks at reasonably close range, pretty close, and just completely missed the tank with this gun. So it is a bit wild sometimes. Now, I have vents fitted, I have spall liner fitted, because you do definitely get targeted by artillery in this tank, and it doesn't take a super heavy spall liner, only a heavy. And I have coated optics fitted because I'm very rarely standing still in this tank. So that gets my aiming time down to 1.59 because of the vents and all that sort of stuff and the crew. 10 degrees of gun depression on this thing as well. If you can get this on a ridge and protect the lower plate, because that is the weak part of the frontal armour, it is an absolute beast. What else can we tell you about? 2,100 hit points is pretty good. And it does 30 kilometers an hour in forward and 12 kilometers an hour in reverse. And the track traverse is only 24.8 to about 25, so it's a little slow to turn, but it's kind of expected for a heavy tank destroyer. I found the speed to be okay. It's quite usable, so it's pretty good all round, really, in that respect. What we might do now is have a look at the armor layout and get into some gameplay. We are on the Tanks GG website, and this is the Badger. So this tank is very heavily armoured from the front. So you can see here the upper plate is 184.2mm, but it's quite well sloped, and you need about 300mm of pen to get through that section. The lower plate is a little thinner at 171, but it has, I don't know if you can see the colour differentiation in the video, but just these side bits here are a bit thicker. So it's here it's 196.9mm or 197mm, and here it's 171. So really it's the centre section from here to here of the lower plate is quite weak. This part's not too bad, but 279, 280mm can penetrate it. If the opposition is higher up than you, then it becomes much stronger. I have tried to shoot down on a Badger with my 275mm of pen and couldn't pen it. But close up like this, I can pen the lower plate of another Badger. with the Badger. So yeah, the upper part of the tank though, the upper superstructure here is 215 millimeters of quite heavily sloped armor, and it's very, very tough. So you need, what's it telling me, at least 320 mils to get through. The red sections here, which are going to be flatter, not as heavily sloped, are thicker armor, 279 or 280 mils of armor, and really, really no one's getting through that. This section here is, this flat section is 355 millimeters thick and virtually impenetrable. It's got a ring around it here of spaced armor, making it even more impenetrable. Up here, this upper part here is 215 mils, very well sloped, really hard to penetrate. So if you get this tank hull down with that covered, use your gun depression. No, that's not even the full gun depression. Let's get the full gun depression here. Can we? No, we're a little bit too high now. Let's work this out, guys. So here, you could probably get it a little bit more angled there, but that's, let's say you've got that and your lower plates covered. The upper plate becomes 376 millimeters to pen. The rest of the tank 385. Forget it. So you're virtually impenetrable if that's covered and you're using your gun depression to shoot down at someone. So yeah, really, really strong in that respect. The sides of the tank though, well, it is actually not bad. Actually, that's another thing. If you've got 15 degrees of angling on either side with this gun, so if you can get this, that's about it there. That's about as much as you can angle and still shoot someone. But it is worth it. It does increase the strength of your lower plate and upper plates a little bit. But the side of the tank is a ricochet here. There's nothing they can really penetrate. The side armor of the front half of the tank isn't too bad at 152 millimeters, so that's pretty good at protecting you against artillery and people like big OHOs and stuff firing HE at you. But the back section here is only 113 mils. Thankfully though, it's set in from the side, so if you're side scraping, they can't hit it. So this section here, the side though, is only 101 millimeters, and the rear of the tank is 38 millimeters, so nothing at the rear at all. But any tank that basically flanks you, 63 mils on the top, so it is pretty well protected from artillery. But any tank that flanks you can shoot you in the back here, or even the side really, and take you apart. That's why I think it's not overpowered. However, it's difficult to shoot this tank through tracks. So if you're like angled like that, trying to shoot them from there, they might try and shoot your front wheel, they can't get through. Even though you can see that little green bit there is only 101 millimeters. So that 101 continues under the side here. That's all 101 with spaced armor on top all along here. So you could shoot there if you want an easier shot, shoot below the superstructure. But from the front, it's really hard to access that bit. You can see here I'm getting like 380, 400 mils. A lot of people will shoot that track out when you're, especially if you're side scraping, like you're just backing out from a corner to shoot at them. A lot of them will shoot the track. And it just tracks you, but it doesn't do any damage. It's really hard to damage this thing through the track. Unless you're really sort of side on like that, then they can. But if you're an angle like this, it's pretty hard. That's about all I need to say about the armor. Just, yeah, it's pretty good. There's not much you can do about the front except go for the lower plate. If the lower plate's covered, then just go around. But you will get spammed with gold in this because it is difficult to pen. The map is Serene Coast, and this is actually my first ever game in the Badger. I didn't even look up the armor values or anything. I just hopped in the tank and drove it out basically. So this is me being a complete noob in my first game. Now the tank does 30 kilometers an hour in forward. You can see here that that's faster than the mouse. The mouse is being pushed by a T-34 and we're overtaking it. So it's not tragically slow, but it's not quick either. But considering it's a heavily armoured tank destroyer, I'm quite happy for it to do 30 kilometers an hour. I reckon that's okay. That's fair enough. Might just speed up to 2 times here while we're traversing our way to the front line. Okay, so I've got a Tiger 2 here, back to normal speed, and I fire at him but I miss. He was backing away, so I just took the shot. Same here, he was backing away, so I took the shot, but we managed to track him. I've got an orange indicator on the turret there, so I'm thinking about going for the shot. Then I'll see his cupola, aim at the cupola, but he backs away in time. So you can see the reload is very quick. For a gun that does 480 damage, very quick reload on this tank. Now, I don't know why that AMX is driven out there. He's obviously got an IS-3 basically behind him. His turret's facing the other way. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like a bad move to me. Now, the Tiger comes out again, the Tiger 2, and this time we do penetrate him. Good penetration versus a tier 8 tank like the Tiger 2. So, his armor just doesn't hold up. I see a Badger there. I've just been very careful. I don't want him to get shots on me from on top. It's a little bit hard to move up at the moment because I'm worried about exposing my right hand side to fire. I do have to be very careful since the sides of the tank aren't super strong. And that AMX is dead now. That was a bad move by him, driving right up in between. He basically got himself flanked. So anyway, he's dead now. Where that object there is a much better position to be in. Okay, so there's a Badger. I just take a shot at him there, thinking maybe I'll damage his tracks while I'm moving. I'm a bit worried about him getting a shot on me now, so I move to use the rock here as cover. But I do line up on this VK. He moves in time, so I don't get a shot on him. I can see the Scorpion coming out to take a shot, so we get ready to face him. Now, so far we haven't taken any damage. I am worried about moving forward in case I give side shots to that Scorpion. We've got a shot here on the E100. I was going to get a turret, but then he presented his lower plate. He pens us with a heat round. Let's see if we can see where that went in. Did it go in the lower plate? I don't see any marks in the lower plate, so I'm not sure where he penned us with that shot. Here he comes again though, and I didn't have a shot. I backed away. I couldn't turn my tank because I was so close to the rock there. I tried to traverse to get a better shot at him, but my track was hitting the rock and I couldn't turn my tank. But we do get a shot in there, just a slither of his turret showing, and that goes in, which is nice. So you've got enough penetration to pen the turret of E100 if it's flat on. So 275 mils a pen is pretty good. Now here's the enemy Badger. I'm searching, as you can see here, for a weak spot, and I can't find one because the first time I've seen a Badger in combat, and like I said, I didn't even look up the armor value. So I'm just trying to see where is there a weak spot, and I can't see one. So I assume, as always, the lower plate would be somewhat weak. I end up tracking him just because I had a shot and I thought, well, I may as well track him. At least maybe give one of my teammates a chance to shoot him or stop him from the Badger from me. I'll turn his gun onto a teammate. So I accidentally exposed my lower plate here. Whoa, what happened? I went up on the rock again. That rock is really throwing me off the angle of the rock. But here we get a shot at the lower plate. It's got an orange indicator, so I take the shot and it goes in. Yay! So you can see there, that is the weakness on the Badger, is the lower plate. Although with 275 mils of pen, me being about the same height as the other Badger, it was an orange, not a green. So it's not a guaranteed hit. So I get hit by the VK there, who was firing gold as well. The Badger also, I bounced the Badger before, but he's also firing gold. I'm getting surrounded now, so I'm realising now I'm going to be dead. I know they're behind me, so I just move forward to take a shot. I'm going to try and get a shot on this guy. The gun barrel of the other tank was blocking me anyway, and I'm dead. So there you go. But I thought it would be a good game because you could see Badger versus Badger. You can also see how much gold this tank attracts. Okay, so how did we end up doing? Yeah, not fantastic. But we were on the front line and we were up against the other tier 10 tanks. And we did get slaughtered. So we did 2,115 damage, which is just a little bit over our hit points, which is 2,100. So yeah, you want to do more than that really when you're top tier, but it wasn't too bad considering what we were up against. Like the enemy team only lost 4 tanks, so you know. We fired 11 rounds, 10 of them hit, only 4 of them penetrated, so we were up, like I say, up against some pretty tough tanks. So we received 10 hits and we bounced half of them, which is pretty good, and we bounced 1,920 damage, which is almost our own hit points. So it does do well considering the amount of gold shots we were receiving. The tank does stand up really well against shots. Of course we lost money because it's tier 10. The map is Arctic Region. It's a tier 10 game, but only just 3 tier 10 tanks on each team, so we're should do alright here. We've got, oh, hang on, let me change that. It keeps defaulting to name view instead of tank view. Okay, so we've got myself, the Badger, STB1 and IS7. They also have an IS7, a TVP, and a Badger as well. Now, just to let you know, I don't do a lot of damage in this game, but I do bounce a lot, so it's going to be more of a demonstration of how to not get penned in this tank by keeping it hull down, and just showing off how good the armour is. I had a couple of games where I sort of did about, I think my best damage in tank so far is about 3,600. When I say so far, I probably won't play it anymore. I just don't play tier 10s because there's no money in it. But, so I line up this IS7 here. But yeah, it's a good tank, and like I said, I've done about 3.6, I think is my best damage, but it wasn't a good game to watch. So I just go for his track there. I know I can't penetrate that IS7 angle, but I just thought if I can damage his tracks and make him use a repair kit or something, or just at least make them weak, make it a bit easier for later on. So I've got an orange indicator in front of the turret there, so I take a shot, but it looks like it might have hit the mantlet on that Type 4 Heavy, so we bounced that shot. But you can see this position here, where I'm just showing, I'm covering my lower plate. You can see there we bounce the Type 4 Heavy there. He's firing gold ammunition. It's gold AP ammo he's firing at us, but he's not getting through. He would actually be better off, I think, probably better off firing HE at us. We did get hit there by artillery, or got splashed for 146 damage, but I do have that heavy spall liner fitted. Now, I make a mistake here, and I get penned by that T95. Now, my mistake there was, I think I allowed him to get a shot on my lower plate. So the so that TVP there taking shots at us, all bouncing, because he couldn't get our lower plate from the angle he was on. He didn't want to risk actually putting himself in a position to be hit by our gun, so we managed to bounce all that. But little ridges like this are great. The only thing is, of course, as always in this game, as soon as you find a hull down position, artillery will try and smash you. But I think the GW Tiger might have been unimpressed by the amount of damage he did to me, because I have got the spall liner fitted, and the frontal armour on this is very good. So if you get hit from the back, artillery does a lot of damage, but if they hit you from the front, they kind of don't do that much damage just because the armour is so thick. So if you get front, because I noticed this, I've been playing artillery a little bit lately because I wanted to get my artillery missions done to get that second tank, the tank you get doing the missions. And it used to be, in the old days, because I only started playing it recently, that you could do all those missions, but you only had to complete 4 of them, so you didn't have to do artillery if you didn't want to. But it turns out now that you have to do all of them. So I'm just getting in my tier 10 Conqueror gun carrier, and I've been completing a mission every game I play, which has been pretty hilarious. But I noticed in that yeah, hitting the front of a Badger doesn't do a lot, and I think if you have a choice to hit something else, then you kind of end up hitting other stuff, because it's not much point hitting in front of the Badger. Now, the T-32, interestingly enough, did hit us with HE, and it did no damage. So I don't think the T-32 probably has great HE ammo. I'm not sure. I've never driven a T-32. That's an American Tier 9 Heavy, I think. So I know that the 34 does. Now, the T-32 has come out. So we've been bouncing off his cupola all this time, but now he's come out in the open. Now, I think the reason he's done that, it's a big mistake, of course. I think the reason he's done that is our team is winning, and they're starting to capture the ground behind him. And I think he's feeling under pressure to move forward. Oh, that was a lucky shot. Got another one into him. So yeah, I think that's why he came forward. But he changed his mind once we started shooting at him. So by me, once again, we've got a green indicator there, but we just can't get through that cupola. I think the thing is that once... here we go. See if we can creep up and get the shot here. I didn't realise that's the new French Heavy, and because I don't play Tier 10 much, I haven't come across it before. I just saw that it was French and thought, oh, it must be one of those soft mediums or one of the softer heavies, so I didn't really aim my shot, and I've just realised after I did it that it was one of the new heavies that's actually got good armour, so I kind of wasted my shot there. So I'm doing terrible shooting. I'm bouncing a lot. But what I am doing is I'm preventing these guys, like the T-36, from coming out in the open. He's basically having to stay there. Now you saw from that shot that shot was not .3 accuracy. So when I talk about the accuracy earlier, it doesn't always go where you put it. That one went pretty close to where we put it, but the others didn't. Can we get this IS-7? He's come out into the open. Well, it's not the IS-7, it's the French tank. This time we do get him, and we get 482, which is pretty good for a tank with 450 average damage, and we managed to get rid of him. So that was nice. And he's coming out in the opening, and so yeah, our team is coming up behind him now, and he really has no choice but to move forward and try and get some damage before he dies, because he's going to get shot in the back. He knows that. I know it too, but I'm going to take advantage of it and finish him off. Now, the only two tanks remaining, which takes me a second to realise here, is that T-95 and IS-7. I've realised it now, and now I'm moving up. Now, this is where the tank isn't good, is that with a maximum speed of 30, I mean, I've got the armour and the gun to drive up and take these guys out, which is what I'm trying to do. But unfortunately, when the tank is this slow, well, you'll see anyway, unbelievably, I don't get a shot. Look at this. The tank's perfectly blocking my view. I come around, T-95 dies, keep swinging, let's get the IS-7, let's get a shot in, let's get a shot in, and I just can't get my gun on him in time. I end up firing into the dead tank. So, yeah, that's one of the limitations, is the speed. You can't mop up at the end. So for that game, we did get a couple of those little medals. We got the cool-headed and what's the one called? Steel Wall, that's right. So we obviously bounced a lot of damage and ricochet. We spotted a lot of tanks. We might as well have been a scout tank, but we didn't get much spotting damage actually. I think we just saw them first, that's all it was. We finished sort of, not bad, but there was only 3 tier 10, so really we should have finished up here. And I did around about my tank's hit points in damage. A tank has 2,100 hit points. So that's normally okay, but when you're top tier, you really should do more. So we really underrepresented in the amount of damage we did. We didn't do that well, but we bounced 3,400 in damage. So I think basically, look at that, 13 hits, only 1 penetrated, which was that T95, which has very good pen. I think we exposed our lower plate to him. So you can see there, a lot of gold shells were being fired at us as well, and we still bounced them. So it is very good armour. We fired 18 rounds though. Sorry, we fired 23. 18 of them hit and only 5 pens. So it might have been just we were a bit low to be firing at those cupolas, and it might have been the angle we were hitting on. We just couldn't pen. Even the front of that T-Force turret, we had an orange indicator. You think maybe one of them would have gone in, but no. So anyway, so we bounced a lot. So really, I think we just took up a lot of their shots and stopped them from advancing, which stopped our tanks getting flanked. So we served a purpose, I guess. Thank you for watching my review of the badge. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to Reginaldesq. Have fun.